in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no. Do you understand?
BigKiz.com, Big Kiz Podcast. You can, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff at the website, BigKiz.com. I'm Brian.
I'm Abu.
Big Kiz. So, today, we're going to talk about...
Just a quick question, Brian. Do you reckon we should get, like sound effects when we say Big Kiz, like explosions in the background and stuff?
Yeah, I actually do think we should do that. In fact, I want an air horn.
Yeah.
Like, Big Kiz, like, brr, 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 brr. Like, I want some air horn shit.
Yeah,
like,
trust.
and the glass breaking.
Yeah, that'll give it
Yeah,
extra
I mean-
sheen, you know?
In fact, actually, you should just sort that out. Like, there must be like a software, like a soundboard software, and I would just click it out on the keyboard or whatever, and it would do the air horns and shit.
That'd be sick, yeah.
That's actually
yeah.
true. I agree, actually, with that. That is a good idea. But anyway, until we get air horns, we are going to talk about a very naughty boy today.
Well, political bad boy, yeah. Is that what
Political
that-
bad boy. Hold on. I wouldn't want to give him that kind of level of cool.
Yeah,
like-
exactly, yeah.
Like, political bad boy. Like, more like political miscreant, political
exactly.
little goblin. Do you know what I mean? Like, and obviously, I thought his apology was just like, he doesn't care. Everyone involved's got money. He knows everything is happening. The news cycle is so quick. There's Twitter going 24 hours about this, that, the other. Soon enough, no one's going to give a shit. No one might even remember him.
Exactly, and the person we're talking about, listeners, is Matt Hancock.
Matt Hancock, and he was
What a proper cock, honestly.
was he Secretary of Health during the pandemic?
Yeah, him and Boris. He was Boris's right hand man,
Well,
feeding us lies, telling us bollocks about wearing a mask and shit, about social distancing and all that crap.
so
Wow, it's rules for one, and then another rule for another.
and Matt Hancock, he at the end of the day, he also wasn't very good at his job. That's the long and short of it. But he stayed for long enough. But there's actually quite a few levels to explore about this story, right? Because one is, what the hell is the camera doing there? Like, how is that image getting leaked?
So
Right.
all right. So
Because that's kind of interesting to me as well. Like, that seems
Yeah.
suspect. Like,
Okay.
a minister of the crown. Do you know what I mean?
But do you want to describe the video that you're talking about, because this is audio and people might not.
So
know
basically, it was a very funny way. Well, not funny, but the way it came out anyway was. Next morning, turns out there's a picture of Matt Hancock groping his taxpayer paid special advisor, who happened to be a woman that he went to Oxford University with back in the day.
Gina Calangelo. if I said it right.
Colangelo. Some sort of Gina, anyway.
Yeah, it sounds for money.
So, what happened is, in the video, they go into his office or his ministerial room or whatever, and he starts having a snog, and he digs out her ass with one of his hands or whatever. And it got caught on camera. So anyway, it just gets leaked to the press, and it's really, at the end of the day, actually, it's unclear what's going on there, because it was inside his office and there's a smoke alarm, and someone's got a camera in there and recorded him doing that and been able to leak it to the press.
Well, it just showed that Hancock had ops in it. People scheming against him.
What, you think someone went in, got paid slipped a cleaner 200 quid, or a K or something, to stick a little camera?
Mate, the House of Parliament is like the House of Cards, bruv. It's all fucking career modes, bruv. If you can eliminate the next fucking candidate, Like, look at who they replace him. Some geezer called Well, I don't even know. I don't even care.
Oh
But I
no
know. I
no
know.
no! The guy who came in,
Mm,
basically, the guy who came in was Savage Javid.
yeah. What do you know about him?
Well, he used to be. Uh, he was going to be Chancellor of the Exchequer, right?
Mm.
Like the job that Rishi had. Rishi was actually his like parliamentary undersecretary, and what Boris said was, "Oh, Javid. I can't. I'm fucking up his name now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man.
You can't bring in your own special advisors. You can't have your own team there because Dominic Cummings is running the show, and Savage Javid was like, "Well, fuck you then. If I can't bring my team, I'm not taking that job." So he never did,
Okay.
and Rishi Sunak took it. So he's come in.
Okay.
He's come in for Matt Hancock now.
Shit.
But Matt Hancock, I mean, you know, are you? I mean, let's break it down to the integral parts because I'm talking about the security element. But let me ask you.
Mate, you got fucked over. It's clear.
I
That's
know
what it
you got
was,
a bit fucked
Brian.
over, but let me explore. Do you believe? I mean, what I mean is, are you surprised
Hmm.
that a politician in the front line is hypocritical and then
Fuck
shagging behind
no.
his wife?
Fuck no. Brian, you know how I feel about politics. I even say I'm very indifferent to politics, whether it's Labour, whether it's Conservative. I think they're all a bunch of tossers, man. But what he's done, it just highlighted the hit, like the flipping, like hypocrisy of these politicians. They're supposed to be represent the people, right? They go in parliament, MPs of different constituencies, parishes, all of that crap, right? But how does it affect me? And all I know is that my taxes, they're getting free cab off my taxes. If my one wants to go and see Gina and flipping in Butlands, man can take her on like 70
Well, they
quid
were
tax.
both getting paid by the taxpayer, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like I'm not too surprised. I'm just, it's comical. It's just even like I'm not gonna lie. Even Boris himself, bro. It's just when you look at the guy, you're like, can I even take this guy seriously? And the people around him, like even Dominic Cummings. Do you see how he came out? It's like these fuckers didn't know what the fuck they were doing during COVID, and it's like I ain't too surprised. I and also the fact that Dominic Cummings can go against his so-called supposed people, the team he was working with during the whole lockdown
COVID,
scenario.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So it just shows how it is fucking just a house of cards, bro. They're all out to get each other, and they've all got weird. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, if some of them have got like go to like swingers parties or like
There's got to be a few, for
yeah,
sure.
of
But
course, get
just
up to
the
all
elite
kinds of weird shit.
ones.
No, the elite ones might be touching kids, bro. You don't even know. So it's
No, like
very.
elite
I think.
swinger parties, like stuff where it's only rich people, super rich people, shit like that.
Oh yeah, of course. But I wouldn't be too surprised if I heard a politician was like driving out all the way to like Epping Forest just for like some dogging in the forest. But it is what it is. That's politics, man. It's just all fucking pretentious shit.
And you know what? Like at the end of the day, I don't think either party involved in terms of
Mm,
Matt Hancock or the Gina woman, they don't really care. I mean, in the sense, okay, their family suffers like a kind of public humiliation for a short while because
mm,
it's constantly on the news cycle or whatever.
mm.
But soon enough, you'll be out the news cycle. They'll be in like high paying jobs
Yeah,
where the shit doesn't really matter. You know, that Gina, like, well, for a start, they met at Oxford, so they've known each other a very long time,
mm,
right? Her dad was CEO of a pharmaceutical company, right? And she's getting paid quite a good salary, probably on taxpayer money, as is he. You know, they're going to get good jobs afterwards in the city. You know, this shit is just like a little. It's it's barely anything in their lives, really.
of course.
You know,
It's a selfish game, man.
they don't really care. It was just for their personal gratification, and that was the end of it. You
Yeah,
know,
Hancock. You see how he's going through this whole divorce shit, but like man doesn't care. I'm gonna get with Gina now. Like if
and
this
she was
doesn't
married
come
to a
out.
millionaire already beforehand, so it's not like she's not going to end up with some cash off him either. You know,
Exactly.
Like
But I just find,
at least a few homes and a car and money ongoing to look after the kids or whatever. Like, so there's no problem. Like, they're not worried about anything, really.
yeah. But it just shows you how slimy these people are, man. Because imagine if this video hadn't come out, man would still be cheating on his wife and then
Yeah,
fucking telling us to wear masks and shit.
yeah, of course. And obviously, there must be other stuff that people. Well, they were just saying like now it doesn't get out too much that, let's say, politicians or MPs are having affairs, or like, even for example, there could be single MPs in different parties banging, but is it public interest? If there's nothing illegal going on, there's no like power dynamic.
Mm, mm.
Is it anyone's business?
That's true. That's true. So what did?
But what I think made this story a little bit more interesting was that little angle that she was a special advisor and getting
Mm,
paid on taxpayer money.
mm.
You know, like that makes it public interest because that's our tax money being spent on it. That's why it was, you know, that's why you could splash it on the front page.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because like you said, no, you're not surprised a politician's cheating on his wife.
yeah.
But you know, if there's no news, like let's say if he's banging the CEO of another company, but they've never got a contract, does it? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no story there because they've not benefited from the relationship in a financial sense or whatever.
So that being said, so is Hancock still an MP?
Yeah, so he's still an MP. He just has lost his job in the government. So he's still an
Okay.
MP and he's still a member of the party. They're probably saying we'll just reshuffle you back in like somewhere shit
Well, a
later on.
backbencher.
He'll be a backbench for a little while and then probably sometime in the future, because he's taken all the hits for the party, they'll just slot him in at the back like a shit ministerial job, a small one, just so he gets the salary.
Okay.
You know.
Talk about politics on that note. Do you see how Labour? It was on the news the other day that Labour won. Was it up north in like Batley and some place up in West Yorkshire,
Spenley.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
in West Yorkshire, bro. I found it a bit humorous because it just showed that Labour on ropes, bro. Because I think they won that position by like 1% of the vote. And then you see like Keir Starmer like, yo, it was a victorious day for Labour. I'm like, bro, this is constituency you've always had. Why are you guys sweating over this position? But it just shows that people are just completely disenfranchised with politics, man. But to be fair, also the thing that done them well is that the politician that took that post, I think, did you hear a year ago or so there was a politician killed by
It was
so
a.
basically I
It
think you
was
might
that.
remember.
I know. It was just like that Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, yeah, and he killed the politician. I think her sister take now well now took the post, so that kind of done helped him in their favor. But I did, but for what I took from that, man, it's just people just don't care, man, anymore. Like politics is just like people don't have the party that they root for. Like, what does Labour offer you as a person? Like we've heard all these promises and all these reassurances, priorities, and all that. But none of these politicians provide it, regardless of their party. So I don't know what's going to be the future of politics at some point, man. Maybe more
Well,
independent parties. Do you reckon?
I mean, the problem is that the way the system is set up, an independent party can't win.
Okay.
So, I think there has been like a hollowing out of politics
Mm,
in at least through my lifetime, because what's happening is, as a generation, like you have large swathes of the generation. So actually, a friend sent me down like a breakdown, and
mm.
basically because the largest generation is the boomer generation, and that is no joke, right?
What years
This,
the boomer? What's the boomer generation? What years would you say that is?
so let's say people are in retirement now in their
Okay.
60s.
Okay, okay, got you.
Um, you
We
know,
were those
because they
that.
were born in the 1960s, like when
Mm,
the from the rebuild of the war, there was lots of work.
okay, yeah.
You know that there was still less population around.
Mm,
So this boomer generation, that because they're the baby boomer because they're the largest generational group.
yeah.
Which is to say, since then there's been less children.
Mm,
They essentially have always swung the political debate and winning vote
mm,
since they were born. So basically, they protected their interest throughout their lives
mm.
via their political decisions.
Okay.
So this like information chart kind of broke it down like this: if you were born in if you were born like I was in 1989,
Mm,
that more often than not the swing. So let's say more people in my generation would vote Labour.
mm.
That might be the case, but we wouldn't win our vote wouldn't win the election because there's more conservatives in the boomer generation, and because they're a bigger cohort or generational cohort, the political swing generally favours them. So
Okay.
that's how it breaks down statistically, right?
Got you.
So since the 60s, if you're from that generation, you've tended the swing in your generation, i.e., whether you support Labour or Conservative, whatever the swing is in your generation generally wins the election, which is to basically say, like I've said, boomers have protected their interests through their lives, through their political choices,
Okay.
to the detriment of other generations, right? But it's
So
not
would it be?
to the. But when I say it like that, it makes it seem very like intergenerational warfare. It's
Mm,
not. It's not
mm.
that. It's just because that's the way democracy works.
Mm.
Uh, they
It's a
are doing
majority.
well, and like what I'm saying is, the interests of people who are much older tend to dominate
Okay.
than
Yeah.
those who are much younger. But
So,
obviously, that's like power accumulation over decades and shit
of course.
and stuff like that.
So with that being said, then
Oh,
would there like eventually be a swing towards obviously the millennial generation or generation Y, or is that the same as boomers? But would you say eventually, I'd say 50 years from time, the group thinking would be like societal thinking or political power would be different in regards to leaning towards more green energy or something along those lines? Or do you reckon it will always just be like a two-party system?
well, I mean, the parties can change and evolve, can't they? But obviously, at the moment, it's still a little way off. So there's still a lot of people to kind of, pass on for that to happen.
Of
Because
course.
people are living longer than before. And when you think, let's say, where someone would die in their 60s 40 years ago, now they'll maybe live to their 70s or 80s. And let's be real, once you're retired, you're not that busy, going out to vote, going out to, put out your opinion,
Yeah,
you'll go do that. You see what I
that's
mean?
that's true.
So that's why that tends to work, I reckon. Air horn. But so I mean, it's like it's an interesting dynamic, and of
Mm,
course, people want to protect their interests. That makes sense. But obviously, it kind of means that, and not only that, people get jaded, and people know people are jaded anyway. So it's like Boris Johnson, he knows people don't give a fuck.
yeah,
Like, he knows in a kind of funny way. That's why he is a bit of a clown, because there's no facade. He is the clown. He plays the clown. He
yeah.
is a clown, right? In this, he will spend taxpayers' money to shag strippers, like when he was mayor of London. He
Hmm.
will, expenses. Like, he doesn't really give a fuck. He knows other people don't give a fuck. So that's kind of how he operates. Like, I am the clown. and let's go. There's no like, it's just like Keir, like, oh, Keir, Sir Keir. He pretend like, no, Keir needs to get angry. Keir needs to say, Boris, like, you're a clown. People are dying. What are we gonna do? You know, but sometimes he lacks a bit of courage and personality. And the thing is, he's a company man, Keir. That's why he's never gonna. You know, it's just like. You know what? Like, for example, the Rashford thing. Boris is such an idiot for me. Like, he's talking about he's spunking all this cash. He's got an easily political win. He could have like grabbed it by the horns and said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we're gonna."
Rashford.
Yeah, no. He could have supported it, grabbed it by the horns, and said, "Yeah, come on, Rashford, let's do a photo shoot together." Then he has a photo shoot. With Rashford, front covers of every magazine, and he goes, "No child goes hungry in Boris Britain." Boom.
Yeah, he's winning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
he's winning.
yo.
That's an incredible win. That's an incredible win. And what are people going to say? Even people who are Labour can't even hate on it.
They'd be like,
And it's
yeah,
a cheap
fucking good
win.
move.
It's a
Trust.
cheap win.
Trust.
You know, no one goes hungry in Boris Britain. You know.
Hey, Brian, have you ever thought about becoming a political advisor?
The thing is, I actually have, because that was what I did at university. But at the end of the day, I'm not. Well, you know what?
I reckon. Do you reckon it will change you though? Do you reckon you'll become part of a system?
I think
You'll get
you. I
corrupted?
think you become not necessarily corrupted, but you're different. Then you're not offering. Then you can't see the forest through the trees. Because you start like, you don't go off gut instinct. You're like trying to understand things through charts and you know, like focus groups and stuff like this.
So you get a distorted reality in a sense.
You're getting a
of how-
distorted reality, you know, and people aren't thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. I think, like, Labour. Here's the thing, like, I think what people don't understand is, because we kind of touched on the woke thing, the path to success isn't to push wokeness, because wokeness might be seen as divisive. Whereas when you talk about economic justice and fairness and saying everyone deserves the right to own their own home, everyone deserves the right to have a job that they're fairly remunerated for. You know, everyone deserves a kind of a working culture that allows them to thrive, or at least treats them with dignity and respect. But but the way it's being proposed doesn't work like that. It's not. It's pulling people apart rather than emphasizing emphasizing common goals and common desires and shared experiences.
But I feel like we've discussed before, Brian, time and time again, we live a time of like individualism. Like,
Yeah, I mean
there's
that is a problem. But anyway, that's for me. That's the problem about Labour and the left at the moment. Like, they're not because at the end of the day, you need to make arguments where no reasonably minded person would say, no, I don't agree with that. You need to start. Just that's why the Rashford thing worked. Should kids go hungry? Like, think of every penny you pay in tax and where it goes. Is that not where you would want some of that money to go? So a child, through
He's
no
eating
fault
well.
of their own, in school, is eating. And like I said, we weren't talking the long way. Sometimes these kids might only eat at school. You wouldn't pay. Like, you know, you need to think, it's now COVID. They might be at home with no food. And not every kid is going to have social services intervention to monitor that, right?
exactly.
And,
Yeah,
and,
entirely.
and you know, so that was such an easy win for Boris, you know. But so
You know what? You know what should happen, yeah? If England win the Euros, Sterling should try and become prime minister. I reckon he'll get the vote.
You know what? I don't think people would vote for Sterling. I think Sterling has been received like a lot of abuse
I don't know. Hasn't he
in his
kind
career,
of
and
course, but
it's
that's the arc, innit? Like you receive a lot of criticism. People will love you. No, people hate you when you're not doing well, but people love you when you're doing great. Right now, Sterling is scoring the goals. Sterling is getting us there. If you win us the Euros, bro, against Italy in the final, you think people don't wouldn't vote for him for prime minister?
no
Who else out of the
the
England squad? Who
media
could be prime minister?
the media wouldn't have it. The media wouldn't have it.
No, they wouldn't know, but
I think
they
Rashi
can't.
could.
It's undeniable. It's
I think
undeniable
Rashi
though.
could.
But he ain't played the game, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. But if he scored the winner or something like that,
Oh, yeah,
if he
Rashford.
scored the winner to win it,
Okay, yeah, that'd be poetic. Yo, that'd be
no.
sick.
But Sterling as well. He's just been at the end of the day he played, so he got the chance to score.
So you're saying if it could be any other member, like if
It could
Jadon
be
Sancho scored?
anyone. Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
So but I think just my inkling would be Rashford, just because he's had the YouTube interview with Obama, and he's
Oh
already
shit! Wait, what? You had an interview? Yo, holy
yeah,
shit! I
yeah,
did not
yeah,
know that. Holy shit!
yeah, exactly, yeah. I think Rock Nation set that up for him, so I do think Rashi so far is my main guy, my main pick for who could be prime minister for sure.
Alright. Yeah.
And life is long, because here's the thing: he don't need to do it today. He can do it when he's 50. You get
Oh,
me?
like just like George Weah. He's like president of Liberia.
Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, he don't need to do it now. He can go. He can have a career. He can do all kinds of sorts of things. And then when
Mm,
he's 50, he can enter politics. You don't need to start this shit too soon.
that's true.
He can just campaign. He can, like, during his playing career, like, focus his campaigning in certain topics or directions, and then later he can be like, yeah, I'm gonna go into politics. Fuck this. You don't know,
That's
right?
true.
So Rashi's got a long time, but he needs to focus on his football. That's my.
Yeah, try.
Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
try.
Like, focus on your football, then you can become prime minister later. There's plenty of time. But
Exactly
if he's
that.
obviously got like a few minutes with Obama,
Mm,
man's got the hookup. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
man's
man's
got the
hanging out.
connects.
He's got the connect. He's hanging out with billionaire Jay-Z, right?
Of course.
And they're like holding court. Like,
It-
what can we do to push things in the right direction?
that's now that you've raised the question because well there's article I saw time ago in which LeBron James, he's a basketball player in America, like counted as one of the best, like close to Kobe and
Mm,
Michael Jordan, and he's started to get into politics in a sense. But then when Zlatan was still playing in the MLS for I think LA Galaxy, he made a slight comment towards LeBron saying that athletes should stick to their sports rather than politics. And LeBron was like, "No, I'm helping my people," and it was kind of like a back and forth.
mm.
What did you what like now that you said that Rashford should focus on his football? Would you say athletes in general, like I don't know, look at Andrei Shevchenko, right? He went into politics in Ukraine because he was like one of the best footballers, won a Ballon d'Or back in 2005. Even Klitschko, Vladimir, was it Vladimir? Yeah, Vladimir Klitschko went into politics. So what's your opinion on the idea of athletes got deviate from their sport to get into the political world?
So I think there is some value to it, but simultaneously, I think it's slightly different in the sense that first prove it on the pitch, and
Mm,
then talk about what you want to talk about. I think it's more difficult when they need to be focused on playing,
mm,
right?
mm,
So, like, for example, with Rashi,
yeah.
I don't mind that he's doing that. I'm pleased, but I wouldn't want all his focus to go that way,
Mm,
because he gets very well remunerated to do a job for his club.
mm, mm,
It's a side gig. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, I don't exactly want him hitting the streets with a political party.
We're out there sweeping the streets with the people. Like, yeah, look at me.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
cleaning up Manchester.
I think he needs like going and doing volunteering and stuff is good. Keeps you humble, keeps you grounded. Because that's the thing. I think when you get money, is you can lose your sense on what life is, daily life is for normal people. Like, for example, Boris Johnson. Like, does he actually? He's living in some sort of cloud posh cuckoo land where everything is like posh ready-made meals and stuff. Like,
The worst
everything's
thing,
bloody dandy, basically.
yeah, the worst thing that can happen is he's run out of caviar.
Yeah, exactly. Or he's lost a child because he's got so many he's forgot. It can be. He's living that kind of lifestyle. But that's where I am on the footballers. Like, I think it's important to do it, but you need to be careful because it's like Pep Guardiola with his like Catalan stuff, but he's still heading up, quite, UAE, where Abu Dhabi is it?
Influences, yeah.
Yeah, like where they're not treating workers right, like taking away their passports and all this kind of stuff.
There's a hypocrisy
So
to it all.
yeah, that on Pep's side, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, he can work the job. That is what it is. But when he starts preaching on something for him, it's like it doesn't. He's kind of not seeing the irony that he's supporting a similar kind of thing.
Because also it could be argued, right? Like, I've named a few sports stars who've moved into politics. Should politics remain for politicians, or can anybody get into politics, would you say? So even if, like, let's say Rashford has finished his career, would you still see it as relevant that he's still trying to pursue politics, even though he's not too familiar with the political sphere? Like, can anybody and anybody just jump in politics? That's what I'm saying.
I think so. I think if you've got enough clout, if you've got enough charisma, if you are smart enough to field the question and deal with it in a way that is going to find favour with the public, then you can do that. Because, let's say, in fact, watching the coverage yesterday, like Micah Richards,
Yeah.
he's got an infectious attitude and enthusiasm. Like, whatever panel he's on, he always has a bit of jokes.
Yeah.
To proceed.
Same with Righty.
No, but Wrighty's a bit more dour now. Like, he's a bit more jaded. Like, do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? He's still got the jokes. He's still got the jokes, though.
No, but he's a bit more tired. Like, I think even Lineker's got a bit more jokes than Wrighty these days.
No. The Righty.
No,
one joke.
what I mean is,
Yeah.
Lineker's like slightly more positive, more of the time, like more consistently. Wrighty, that's what I'm saying. Like, Wrighty can be a laugh, but at the same time, he can be a bit moody. He can be a bit upset. He's tired. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It depends on his emotional mood of where he's at that point, or how much he's fancying the game, or that kind of thing.
All right. So what would you wouldn't say he's as moody as Roy Keane, though?
No, but Roy Keane's character is moody Roy Keane, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
true. And it has its place, I guess.
But let me hear your closing thoughts on whether or not you think sports people can get into politics or not.
I think politics is it's more complex than we think it is. It's not black and white. It's not right or wrong. There's also, like you said before, like, you can kind of get lost in the system in regards to, instead of understanding what's truly for the people or what's the best option for the masses, you kind of focus on, like, in-house, like, beefs or international affairs that don't understand. For example, the Palestine-Israel situation, that's being kept quiet to a hush. But if you're really about, I don't know, change and prosperity and equality, then there's certain topics you'd have to speak up, but you can't. So when it comes, and I think that's what people, anybody who has influence now believes that they can just jump in the political sphere. But I don't know if that's entirely true, bro. Because as a footballer, not to cuss him out, bro, but all you're really focused on is like how to kick a ball straight, how to cross the ball, how to. It's more physical effort rather than understanding concepts and implications of actions. You know, so
But hold on, hold
I
on, hold
yeah,
on. But I'm
yeah,
saying Rashi was about school dinners. Like he wasn't
yeah.
talking about trying to find peace in the Middle East. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the
Yeah.
different kind of scales of challenge.
Mm, mm,
You
mm.
know,
But I just, if, on a low level, yeah, yeah, Rashford would be the guy. But I don't know, like, what happens if he gets in the proper position of power, man. Like, it.
no, no. But the thing is, you wouldn't expect that now. I'm talking
Mm,
like 30 when he's spent some years off his playing career
mm,
and he's doing stuff and working, you know, because at the end of the day, these people end up with a lot of capital and they can study
mm,
and move in those circles. That's the
mm,
thing.
mm,
That's the one thing you're kind of forgetting. Like, these people can move in circles. Like, Rashi had the interview with Obama. How many people
mm,
get 5 minutes with Obama? Even today, think how
mm,
busy that man's schedule is.
mm.
You
That's
know,
true.
like you don't. Not everyone gets the chance to talk to
Mm.
him. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess in some regards, yeah. But how much of it is it just posturing though? Is it just okay? This is a person who's the man of the moment now. Let me bread him. But later on, I could easily just say, like, who are you? You know, I don't know how people's perceptions of like, of course you say, yeah, the connections are there. You can talk to people, but how serious will people take him? Like, you have to have some credibility on your
Hold on,
back.
hold on. I
Yeah.
think you're, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Donald Trump. Like, trust me, mate. He's already got more credibility.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you,
You got
you
you.
know,
No, once you said Donald Trump, you got me on that. Yeah, you got me on that.
you
I can't
know,
say too much in that.
like. So I think you're overthinking it. Even like
Yeah.
you're kind of romanticizing. Oh, they need to be this kind of figure. Like, as long as they're not a crook for a start, it's already good enough for me because most of them
Mm,
are crooks.
of course.
BigKiz.com. Don't vote for crooks.
I was trying to think of a smart pun for Hancock. Don't look Hancock left with his cock in his hand. I don't know if that's
Oh,
good
he's
enough.
I think I'm gonna leave this as the last bit of the pod. He's a cockhead.